So let's discuss something that doesn't always get talked about when it comes to spiritual warfare, and that is your emotions. Because you can be praying and you can be trusting God and you can be doing everything you know to do. And then one moment can hit you emotionally and it feels like it pulls you right back into fear. It can happen so quickly. You can hear something and see something, or your child does something. And before you even have time to think about it, you're feeling it. That rush of fear or heaviness, the need to fix or control or even say something. And in that moment, it can feel almost automatic, but I want you to hear me when I say that there's nothing wrong with you having emotions. You're a parent, you care and love your child. Of course, you're going to feel things, but here's where that shift has to happen. Because when you feel something, it doesn't mean you're meant to follow it. I want to remind you about 2 Timothy 1:7, where it says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind." It said a sound mind. That means steady, clear, not easily pulled in different directions. Emotional discipline is the ability to feel something without letting it decide what you do next. You see, in spiritual warfare, the enemy doesn't always start with your actions, it's in your thoughts. He often starts with emotions. If he can get you to feel overwhelmed or fearful, then he can influence how you respond. You see, if you feel afraid, you try to control things. When you're hurt, you react quickly. And then if you're anxious, you start overthinking everything. Then it happens all so fast that it feels like you didn't even have a choice, but you do. But there is a space, a small one, but it's there, a space between what you feel and how you respond. It says in Proverbs 4:23, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. It didn't say to suppress it, it said to guard it. So, emotional discipline is not about shutting your feelings down, and it's not about pretending you don't feel anything. It's about not letting your feelings lead you into reactions that pull you out of alignment. So, there are a few practical steps that we should take to help us with staying in alignment. For one, we have to name it. When something starts to rise up in you, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Just naming it creates the space to do something about it. Second, I want you to check that thought. Ask yourself, is this leading me toward faith or back into fear? And then third, you have to choose the response moving forward. You have to be intentional about your thoughts and how you choose to proceed. It's not based on how strong the feeling is, but based on what is true. You have to remind yourself of what is true. So when you feel panic because something happened, instead of reacting immediately, I want you to pause, breathe, and you can say something like, I feel this, but I'm not going to move from this place. You don't have to respond to everything you feel. There were moments that I had to sit with my emotions and not act on it right away. And that wasn't easy, but it changed how I showed up. Because when your emotions are leading you, your peace becomes unstable. But when your spirit is leading, your emotions begin to settle. Remember where it says in Galatians 5:16, So I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. So this is a practice. You don't have to get it perfect, but each time that you pause instead of react, each time that you choose truth over how you feel, you're strengthening something. So the next time that something tries to rise up quickly, you don't have to shut it down, just slow it down. I want you to notice it and sit with it for a moment. And then you get to decide where you're going to move from, because you don't need to stop feeling. You just don't have to follow everything you feel.